Hi, this is Scott Garibay, and today we're going to talk about Dungeons and Dragons. We're going to talk about Dragons of Stormwreck Isle, and I'm going to explain to you why Dragons of Stormwreck Isle is the best 5th edition starter set ever. All right, let's get into it. All right, so first of all, Dragons of Stormwreck Isle, it's the brand new starter set that came out in August. I think it might have came out late July of 2022. What are its competitors within 5th edition? So first of all, let's talk about the first starter box in 5th edition. It came out in 2014, and it's the Last Minds of Fandom. And you'll hear a lot of people talk about the adventure and say that they really like the adventure, and I've read it. It's actually one thing that's really fantastic is the Lost Minds of Found. I think I may have had this starter set at one point, but I have the adventure that came out that was given away for free in D&D Beyond, and I've also gotten my hands so I've read the entire adventure and everything that's in it, right? And actually, I think it was free or purchasable far before now, right? But I never actually, I can't remember because it's like 8 years ago, but I did not want that box set, and the reason why is the box is garbage, right? So it's a box set. It's a starter set, right? And this is a long tradition in Dungeons and Dragons of you get a box, right? Like and here's everything. It's D&D in a box. That's what a starter set is, right? So here's my issue. I like the adventure in Fandom, but I know people are going to disagree with me. I think that's a garbage starter set, and the reason why is the box isn't a box. It's a paper. It's like the same kind of. It's like a thick cardstock paper. Okay, but it's not like if you look at the box for Stormwreck Isle, Dragons of Stormwreck Isle, and if you look at the box for the Essentials kit, and if you look at the box for the Rick and Morty starter set, right? Those are all real boxes, and they match the 1983 red box that really kind of set the standard, right? But the Lost Minds of Fandom starter set is literally, in my opinion, it's literally trash. And the reason why is it will fall apart, and then all you're going to have is the books, and you're going to have a bunch of pieces that are all over the place, right? Like, where's my dice? Where's the sheets that were in here? They're all over because you don't have a real box, because the box is literally not an actual box. It's paper, right? It's just like cardstock paper, and it will fall apart. Now, why does that matter? Like, Scott, what's it matter with the box? The box matters a lot. I literally remember carrying the red box, right? And when I would go to school, I would carry that thing with me. I'd have my backpack on my back, and I would proudly hold, the red box. Now, I was in probably ninth grade, 8th or ninth grade, right? And I would bring the red box in with me, and I would just hold it in my my right hand. I remember, right? And I would get questions from students, I would get questions from teachers, and then I would just hold it up, right? And the first thing they would see is that black-haired human with with his sword and shield, with this red dragon coming to kill him, and I'm like, this is about adventure, and we would have conversations, right? And I would carry it everywhere, and that thing got really bunged up, and but it was really important, and the idea that this is Dungeons and Dragons as a box is important, and I feel like they did not remember you need a freaking box that's not going to fall apart, and all the crap's not going to fall out the bottom, right? So D&D in a box is a real thing. It is absolutely critical for the starter set. Okay, so Dragons of Stormwreck Isle, I don't even think it matters what's in it. It beats it because it does the job of a starter set. Dungeons and Dragons in a box. Whereas Lost Minds of Fandom, I don't really care what if the adventure was better. It doesn't function as Dungeons and Dragons in a box, and that's what a starter set should be, right? My humble opinion. All right. It beats Rick and Morty. Rick and Morty, honestly, I'll tell you right now, I love the Rick and Morty box set. It's really unique and cool. I'm very proud that it sits on my shelf. And I will say, every Sunday, my primary dice is the Rick and Morty dice. They're super easy to read. They look dope. They're really unique. They never get confused for anybody else's dice at the table. But I don't think that product should exist. And here's why. How on earth did Rick and Morty skip the line? Right? How did that get a product and tons of other? Why don't we don't have a Lord of the Rings Dungeons and Dragons box set? Why on earth should we have a Rick and Morty? Like Dungeons and Dragons is systematized Tolkien. We should have done a loader box way before we ever did it. There's 50 products that there should be crossovers before Rick and Morty, if Rick and Morty ever should have been crossed over, right? So I don't know whose idea that product was, but that was a bad idea and it shouldn't exist, right? It's one of the weirdest things in all of Dungeons and Dragons. So Dragons of Stormwreck Isle beats that. Here's the tricky one. Does Dragons of Stormwreck Isle beat the Essentials kit? That's legit. Okay, so first of all, the answer is yes, but I'm going to tell you why. Essentials kit is absolutely, it is my favorite, okay, starter set, right? Because I got it and I was like, oh my gosh, this thing's amazing. It's got initiative cards, it's got sidekicks, it's got a 64-page description of the rules, and I think it's like a 128-page adventure in there, I think. Yeah, but it's got everything, and it has the best dice set that's ever been printed. It's got like four of the red the dice are amazing. They're transparent, and you got 4d6s, so you can actually roll 4d6, unlike Dragons of Stormwreck Isle. So the dice beat it. The card sets that are in it. It's got magic items. It's got quests on cards. It is amazing. Okay, it is so good, and I love it. Right, as a veteran dungeon master. But here's the kicker. The reason why Dragons of Stormwreck Isle is the best of the starter sets is when it comes to starter set, less is more. And Dragons of Stormwreck Isle has a 32-page rules guide, and it has a 64-page adventure. And the on-ramp, serving as the actual on-ramp to Dungeons and Dragons, it is simple and inviting, and it does not overwhelm. And Dungeons and Dragons is, in my humble opinion, the most complex text that exists on this planet outside of sacred texts. It is outrageously complicated. And so I love, as a legacy DM, I love that chock full box, right? And everybody's saying, no, Essential Kits is better. But they're saying that because they stopped thinking. Starter sets are for newbie DMs. And Dungeons and Dragons is a dragon. It will tear your throat out with its complex fangs, with its complexity fangs. And so the fact is, to have this super inviting small on-ramp is best and right. And that's why Dragons of Stormwreck Isle beats the Lost Minds of Fandelver, beats the Rick and Morty, and beats the Essentials kit. That's my humble opinion. I'd love to hear yours. Let me know in the comments below. Please consider liking and subscribing, and have a wonderful millennium.